Hey everybody, and happy Sunday. And I'm happy to say that it is snowing where I live today, and that never happens. So it's cold and quiet and snowing, and that's just crazy. So anyway, I hope wherever you're at right now, the weather is cool, or not crazy or messy or whatever, or you're having a nice gentle snow day like I am. And I thought, well, on a day like this, I can't think of a better idea than go through a 1976 Montgomery Ward Spring catalog and just look at the cover. Look how they're dressed in these denim outfits. And this was like, these denim pantsuits were all the rage back in the 70s because I remember them. Now, I was 2 years old when this came out, but I do remember the tail end of the 70s, and I remember a lot of people still dressed like this, or something similar. The wide collars, usually a collar sticking out from over a blazer or a coat jacket. That was a common look. I would say that their hairstyles are actually kind of cool. They could, even work for today in some cases. But, when I looked at this picture in the 80s or 90s, I thought they were just so, out of style. So it's Montgomery Ward. In Chicago, call 944-7200. So, and for the suburbs and other towns, see pages 42 and 43. So this is probably targeted to Illinois. And on the back we have curtains, very 70s style curtains. We had these curtains when I was a kid, these orange translucent curtains, this sort of sheer material, and that was very popular. We had these exact ones. This is a heavy book, very thick. So settle in and let's take a trip back to 1976. The new Spirit of 76 is living easy, and Spirit of 76 is because this is the 200th anniversary of the United States of America. And my dad, I remember my mom and dad went to a party, and my dad dressed up like a Continental soldier and everything. So they were really into the Spirit of 76. If you look at quarters from 1976, they have a picture of a Revolutionary drummer on the back of them. So, okay, now, America's 200 years old. And this is how we're dressing. Like, this suit, at a glance, you thought, well, I could wear that today. But if you look, the lapels have that thick kind of like, almost looks like the Greatest Showman thing, And the shirt, the colors aren't bad, but the cut is definitely 70s. Her dress, her hair, this holdover necklace. Now, let's talk about this necklace for a second. Right here. Okay. In the 70s, there was a 1920s revival. A lot of people don't know that. They're not old enough to remember that. But The Great Gatsby, a lot of other things were very popular during this time. So women were wearing these long necklaces like it was the 20s. Men were wearing these tight suits. There was a 1920s Gatsby look that was very popular in 1976. Now these are pantsuits with a scarf around the neck, neckerchief. And this was like the rugged male casual leisure suit. And it has pockets, like he could go to a party or dinner, or he could go out on a hike, And he has this kind of earthy shirt underneath. This is some real cruise wear, I guess you could say. Very, very leisure wear, matching outfits, white belt. That died in the 70s, the white belt. White shoes often were worn. Rolling up the sleeves a little bit. Here's another. This is the Southwestern look. Western culture was really big in 1976. President Carter was president. President Carter had gotten elected. We had a rural kick, so we liked this rural and country Western look a lot. All of this looks quite familiar to me because when you're growing up in a young family, a lot of the stuff they purchased is the stuff that you kept through the 80s. So these couches and this kind of decor looks a lot like our house. You know, until, you know, my parents got more successful over the years. But when we first started out with a black and white TV and everything, we had a whole 1970s house. And a lot of this clothing, it reminds me of stuff my mom would wear. More like along the lines of the dresses, the skirts. But, you know, we had bell bottoms. Popular. They're playing. Was that croquet or whatever? These were common. My mom would wear hats like that. This makes me think about that movie Kingpin with Woody Harrelson, who his landlady was wearing these outfits. The rope belt, yeah, the peasant. This is like the peasant look. Yeah, check out these outfits. I remember all of this vest style. It leaked into the later 70s when I remember things. I mean, I remember I remember probably a touch of 1976, a good deal of 77 and 78. I have a lot, and I was in school by 79, so obviously I remember a lot of this stuff. This is one of my mom's favorite looks back then when I was a kid. She would have something like this on, like these kind of pants with that kind of shirt tucked in, and see, she had the scarf around her neck a lot. That look, I swear, I think she had this very catalog and bought some of these very, yeah, she had that exact blazer thing. She had that exact outfit. I think she got a lot of her clothes from Montgomery Ward. I remember that. She had that shirt. Gosh, this stuff is so familiar. I mean, I feel like I'm just looking back at my childhood here. And, you know, obviously we have family photos where I see her wearing these outfits too, so it just reinforces those memories. Many, many, many of these outfits she had. Or similar. This gardening smock here, you know, the water can. Amazes me is how good condition this catalog is in. I mean, it is like brand new. And what is it? It's old. 45 years old. 46 almost. Distinctly 70s style. I'm hoping that we'll run into some more 1920s throwback looks for men or women, because it's just interesting to go into that and talk about the amazing effect that the movie The Great Gatsby had on fashion in the 70s. It had a huge effect. We get to some bathing suits. I mean, a bikini like that could probably be worn today. But a lot of, as you can see, a lot of these bathing suits are on the modest side. That almost looks like something from the 20s with a little belt. Actually, that looks like a men's bathing suit from the 20s. More of the risque bikinis. But like the hoodie and this look, I mean, that's like something you see on Instagram today. Look at that belt. I mean, it's jumpsuits. Jumpsuits were big. Yes, they were. A lot of people wore jumpsuits. That denim skirt looks pretty familiar. I think my mom had that. The scarf around the neck was just a big deal, and I kind of wish it would come back. I thought it was kind of a cool look. Get to some more evening wear. This is your party outfits, dinner outfits. We got straight wedding dresses, bridesmaids dresses. Can you imagine, you know, someone today buying their wedding and bridesmaid stuff from Montgomery Ward, but weddings weren't like so crazy back then. You just got married. You didn't turn it into a reality show. Smart looking holdovers from the 60s. A lot of pantsuits. This one, very, very popular look. I like the shrug and this skirt here. I think that's a nice look. It still kind of comes back in style every now and then. Nautical. If you're going on a cruise, if you're going out on a boat. She's got one heck of a tan. Dang. The Dutch look. It's exactly what that's supposed to be. More evening wear. These capes. This is 1920s throwback. To a certain extent, this is. To a certain extent, that is another movie that there was a slew of period pieces around this time. Besides The Great Gatsby, there was Bonnie and Clyde, Big Bad Mama, The Woman in Red, a lot of these Roger Corman movies, and there were other, Agatha Christie stuff that took place in the late 20s, early 30s, all contributed to the fashions at this time. Death on the Nile in the 1970s was a much bigger deal than Death on the Nile today that's coming out in the theaters. People were a lot more excited then. Here we get to pre-Princess Di. Princess Di. Because Princess Di was not Princess Di yet. She was just Diana Spencer going to school. She wasn't much older than me. I mean, she was a kid when I was born. Let's put it like that. So, I mean, she's older than me, but not like by leaps and bounds. You know, what we're looking at here is workwear. What you'd wear to work. That kind of look. This isn't exactly workwear. This is more like after work, put that on and hang out with your kids, taking a walk. I remember when in the 70s, after school and work, my mom and me and my brother would go bike riding around the neighborhood. All three of us, we'd just ride our bikes. And, you know, that was our entertainment. That was, you know, we might come back and watch Mork and Mindy or the Dukes of Hazzard or something, but we did a lot more stuff outside, it seemed like. We didn't have computers. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have phones that could leave the house. We didn't even have portable phones. We didn't even have wireless phones. If we had a phone, it was securely connected to our wall, or it was securely on a pedestal on the table. This sharp-looking leather look. It's cool. This was another classic look from the 70s. I mean, I tell you what, this catalog is covering the styles of the 70s. You are getting a education in 1970s fashion while you're watching this video. Look at that. Amazing dress / leather coat. Very, very cool. These raincoats here. More of the western, southwestern style, which was big. I truly, from my 2022 perspective, I like a lot of these looks. The ring, the colored ring, looks like a mood ring, doesn't it? It is the mood ring. Yeah. Here's fun, fascination, fashion. The newest, most electrifying way to get in touch with your inner self. Everybody's talking about the excitement that goes on and on. Check your vibes and those of your friends as you watch the stone change color. Yes, mood rings were the new rage. And they never looked that pretty, I'll tell you that much. They generally ranged some shade of black. Here we get to some other let's take a look at some of these. That shirt with the print on it. This kind of like sexy outfit here with the matching socks. The babushkas and pantyhose. This is the hose and lingerie. Need some coffee. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. It's a not quite Playboy bunny. It's kind of like 1970s cute stuff. This was like this sleep thing here. My mom had this exact one, and this was like what she walked around. This was what she'd be wearing in the morning when we all woke up, and she was like making coffee and stuff. And she would be walking around, and she had this exact one with the bicycle and the little whatever Holly Hobby whatever riding it. And she would wear that, or she would be making coffee and toast for us to go to school and work. And then she taught me how to make the toasted coffee. She said, "You start doing this." So I said, "You can make your own sandwich and put your own Capri Sun in your own lunch." Now I'm just going to kind of flip through this section because I don't have any real informed things to say about this without looking kind of weird. So I'm just going to flip through. And okay, now we get to what my mom used to call the shot your couch look or your wallpaper dress. She wouldn't wear this. These are the things my mom would not wear. Okay, and that's what this section is. No, my mom wouldn't wear that. Too much of a lady. She would not dress like Gilligan from Gilligan's Island. This is robes. She wouldn't wear that. She wouldn't wear any of that. No way. No way. Okay, now we're getting into wardrobes and furniture. I don't think we're going to see any, sewing stuff. a lot of moms had sewing machines back then. It was another appliance in the house, like the iron. And because it wasn't so doggone easy to get clothes back then, so we didn't have Walmart really. There was Walmart in some places, but we didn't have one. The only place you could get clothes was like Sears or someplace, and it was kind of expensive, so you had to sew. You had to fix things. So most moms had a sewing machine. I mean, I'd be at my friend's house, and if we were playing, if I tore something, his mom would sew it up. I mean, that was just how it was back then. There's this typical tennis shoes. This is like a gardening slide. Sandals. And we're just looking at, cork shoes. Just a lot of leather shoes. I didn't really pay too much attention to all the shoes, so I'm not as informed on this stuff. When I was a little kid, I just wore some tennis shoes, and if I see something I wore, I will show you. This, I got a pair when I was a kid, this type of boot with the red laces. I had one of those. I had cowboy boots because I lived in Texas, and the end of the 70s. I had shirt shoes, and I can't remember what they looked like, except they were leather. But I definitely had those hiking shoes. And I had a pair of sneakers or tennis shoes. At least couple pairs for school. More into this is the jumpsuits I was telling you about, which were popular. The men's leisure suits. These were called leisure suits. You could wear them to work too, but they were very, very popular. This was like this sporting look for the American man at this time. It's like ships, steamboats. Nautical stuff again, cruise wear, cowboy, like a lot of earth tones was popular. Men's jewelry back then, these kind of bracelets and necklaces were very popular. You see like a pre-disco thing going on here. Disco was relatively new. I got a leisure suit for every mood. I think that's the guy from Magnum P.I. He played Rick. Looks like him. His name is Larry Minetti. Suits. This is a work suit. A sport jacket. These checkered pants were real big. This was also like a golfing kind of. This is like you would go to work and play golf in these pants. Denim. This is like the rugged look. We're getting into more like, yeah, jean street. See, like jean outfits. Outdoors, Western wear. Western wear was really big. I cannot overestimate enough how big, from hee haw to everything you had on TV. the Western wear, the country music. Everyone had a CB radio in their car. It was the thing. Now we get to some ties. It's got peacock feathers. The tie that matches the shirts. You notice the ties were rather wide. This has like a kiwi on it, Mickey Mouse. Very, very heavy in the paisley and the patterns. The Western wear again. This is serious Western wear. Snaps instead of buttons. Earth tone flowers. We get to polo shirts. I have a few of these that I inherited from my grandfather that I like to wear every now and then. And this is very, very typical of how men dressed back then. I mean, this is exactly what they wore. And the matching shirt and pants colors was a big deal too. This is just your regular overalls. That's another thing. Workwear. Men, when they went to work, if they had manual labor jobs, they wore overalls. That was like a work uniform. You don't see that very much nowadays. You see workers wearing like a colored, fluorescent vest, blue jeans, and a shirt. You don't see the overalls anymore. Not as much. Pajamas. Long johns. Look at this fishing gear. Sporting wear. Track suits. Get more centered. Just more leisure wear. Get into, the classic cars from the 20s. 1920s throwbacks. Sport cycling. Car racing. Yacht racing. Western with the top design. T-shirts, look to the skies. It has a UFO on it. Honda, motorcycling, surfing, track and field. Little league team jackets. Like a leather Western wear. PVC leather. Pleather. That's what we called it. More women's leisure wear. The Jodie Foster look. Every time I saw Jodie Foster back in the 70s, she always had an outfit like that on. Okay. Yep. School teacher wear, I guess you could call this. It's got little kids going to school all over her outfits. School teachers would wear, like, sweaters with pencils and rulers on them and necklaces like that and stuff. Church wear. They special occasion. Church weddings. Denim. More bathing suits. Baby wear. Little baby sleeping bags. Baby stroller / snuggie thing. So training pants. Back then, a lot of parents, I didn't have, like when I was a baby, my diapers were made out of cloth. My mom put them on me, pinned them with safety pins, and then diaper delivery service picked them up and cleaned them. The Huggies and Loves and all that stuff came out later. I mean, it might have existed, but it wasn't as widespread. A lot of people still use cloth diapers. And when my mom babysat, I mean, first time I saw like disposable diapers was in the 80s. And you see the stuff on kids, stuff like World War I airplanes, little foxes and raccoons, dogs. You know, very simple. And the funny thing is, you don't see a lot of like marketing. You don't see like Avengers or whatever. You see like kind of generic artwork. I mean, you might see Mickey Mouse, you know. You'd see some established characters. But look, you see this kitten, which that's just freaking cute. Look at that. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Okay, Cracker Jacks. She's got a Cracker Jack outfit on, which is these little pantsuits. It's 1976. So you got a little what's her name who sewed the flag? Gosh dang it, that's Dolly Madison. It's either, no, not Dolly Madison, Martha Ross, or I think it's Martha Ross. Oh my gosh, and I have a history. I'm so embarrassed. Because my brain doesn't work as fast as it used to. Biplanes, see? Baseball. This is what kids wore. This has got some cartoon characters on it, I think. Tots on the go with Wards. This is Strollers. Everything looked kind of cheap back then. They're not nearly as durable as they are now. I mean, I like Strollers now made out of like titanium and so. But back then, you know, we had a little rickety stuff for the kids. They were car seats. See, I mean, people didn't use them, but they existed. I would ride around in the sitting on the floorboard or behind the back window, you know. It's a different world. Typewriters. I probably said this in other videos, but if you were in middle school or high school at this time, you had to have one of these. There were no computers. You had to type your papers, and if you screwed up, you screwed up. You know, you had to put a new sheet in and start over. They did have whiteout, so you could use that a little bit, but it was not any. But you'd have to like be careful and make sure it dried totally before you typed over it. They did get the correcting typewriters later, which were awesome, but you had to buy the corrective tape. Yeah, I had to type papers when I was in school. We just simply didn't have any kind of computer that could do that. In our household, at least. We had a computer, but we didn't have a printer until much later. The computer didn't come in until late 80s, early 90s anyway. That's a copier, an office copier. I think it's a mimeograph. They would make the purple copies. When I went to school, if we had a worksheet or a test, it was all purple ink. You guys seen with my age, they'll remember that. They didn't have anything that was black ink or anything. It was always purple ink. Because that was how copies were made. Old calculators. You know, these are simple calculators, but take note of the prices. Look at this simple calculator, but it's 30 bucks. This is a handheld calculator. $189 for this adding machine. Now, I guarantee you're not going to pay that much for these items nowadays. These are 8mm movie cameras. You could have silent family videos with no sound. This is like the kind of film strip player we had in school. Cameras were big because we didn't have cell phones, so we you needed a camera. Grandma, grandpa had like a Nikon or Olympus or whatever. Getting a camera, you know, costs a lot of money. So my parents would go on these like what are those things called? The timeshare offers all the time. So we would get like a free hotel. We'd get like a little free trip, and we would just walk around and look at the timeshare, and then they give us a gift. And it was usually like a 35mm camera. So the Instamatic cameras. I had a Polaroid. We used to watch slides all the time. My dad's, you know, put on slides from when he was in the Marines, or they'd have slides from being in California and stuff. There's the Polaroid. Telephones, 1920s throwbacks. Your standard phone. Some of these crazy phones, but see, a lot of people had decided to get these Andy Griffith Jones back in their houses, you know, so they could call Juanita and everything. Vitamins were another big thing. My aunt, oh my gosh, my Aunt Jackie and all of her vitamins. And every time we went to visit Aunt Jackie, she would just give us like a handful of vitamins to take, and like, here you go. And I'm like, why am I taking these? And she's like, you need these. And it'd be like chewable vitamin C, and it usually tasted like candy, so I didn't complain very much. Shavers, hair dryers, exercise equipment. This thing, like Pee-wee's Playhouse thing, the belt massager, whatever that, I don't know if that did anything. And on all these rowing machines and all the stuff that ended up in people's garages, recumbent bikes. Shower heads. Oh, nothing. Look at these little personal steam rooms. You see that? Seriously. Oh my gosh. Imagine coming home and seeing your wife like just her head on top of this thing. The shower massagers. Generally, these were, if you were in a nice hotel, you'd have these, but most people didn't have them in their houses. Let's see. Oh, this stuff. These are trusses. These are for, because back in the day, men got hernias all the time. It just was a fact of life. And many of them just went on with life, and they would get a truss to literally hold themselves together. Potty chairs for kids, baby stuff, automatic thermometer for 20 bucks. 20 bucks back then was a lot of money too. Humidifiers. Sun lamps, so you could tan at home. You see that? Sun lamps. You didn't have tanning beds. 4-position comfort bed for people who really had a lot of hernias and they didn't have enough trusses, so they just had to get that bed then. Wheelchairs, $749. Back then, that was like your monthly paycheck. I'm not kidding. And that was if you had a good job. Medical books. Look at this hearing aid. These are order forms. And we have an index. But there's more to come. Don't be despondent. Yeah, this is all for Chicago, the Chicago area. Elmhurst, DePlaine, Skokie, Oak Park, Franklin Park, Bellwood. Now we get into jewelry, as we say here where I live. Jewelry. Big old pinky rings and big old gaudy rings. Pocket watches. You can always find pocket watches to buy. They always have the same scenes on them. Trains, dogs, deer, swamps. And you can get a little bit of knife to go with it. Every now and then, every guy, including me, goes through that pocket watch phase where they feel like they have finally hit the point of adultness where they need to have that pocket watch. And then you're like, screw this. But cameo rings. These watches. Ooh, look at that guy. $50. Which is about $300 nowadays. That watch right there. And we got your clocks. This was the most common clock to have in the house. You know, I think it'd be a neat idea to have a hotel, to make a hotel, and everything in the room is like the 80s. So people could have the experience, have a clock like that next to their bed, an old telephone, a rotary dial phone, a big old fat TV, big old clunky air conditioner, a basic mattress that's, you know, doesn't have all kinds of comforts installed in it. Look. Fish stuff, one little part. Now, I mean, now that you got so much fish stuff when you go to the store, back then it was like aquarium, some drops, some food, find some fish, and some water. You know, things were so simple. Fencing, sheds, they look pretty rinky-dink, but you know, you buy them, put them together, clap them together, put your riding mower in it. Riding mowers and regular lawn mowers. Pretty expensive for back then, $389. That was a lot. Generators, basically. AC generators. Chainsaws. This is cable for, I'm guessing for what this cable for? Service entrance cable for 220, 240 volt appliance. I mean, this is like if you're doing the wiring yourself, I guess. I mean, goodness gracious. Because you couldn't just buy cable and steal cable back then. I don't think it was that kind of cable. Some of this stuff you have to be certified to do, I thought. Bath fixtures. Those lighting fixtures. Seems like we had a very simple chandelier in the dining room like that had like the little hanging things. I like this one with the root beer barrels on it. Plant lights, outdoor lights, paint, armor coat. Painting was something we did a lot back then too. Constantly painting things. Holly Hobby. Oh, this is you get to your Holly Hobby was a big deal for girls back then. All the girls had Holly Hobby t-shirts. I didn't even know the name of this character until just recently. I just saw it all the time. But that's like wallpaper for your daughter. Ladders, wooden ladders. You don't see that anymore. We had a wooden ladder. It's extendable and everything. Air, powered air, doors. A lot of like home improvement stuff here. Linoleum siding. Oh, look at this swankiness here. And we get into kitchening. Salem Square. It makes me think of witch hunts. The Lexington line. Now that to you probably just looks like a very plain kitchen, but it was actually quite modern compared to, if you look at old 50s, like my grandparents' house was like from the 50s. So this was modern compared to what they had, which was very 50s. And the 50s looked much different than that, I can assure you. A lot more white enamel. Fake brick was a big deal. Fireplaces. Fireplaces, I just, you know, we didn't have a fireplace at that time, but we would go to friends' houses and they would have one. And I remember my dad would sit there with the other guy, you know, and my mom would be with the wife in the kitchen. My dad would be sitting next to the fireplace with the other guy, and they'd be smoking pipes, talking. And me and my brother would be with the kids playing with toys. Bathtubs. Look at all the toilets, and see these colored toilets. You would get toilet paper to match. So you don't really find colored toilet paper anymore because people stopped buying colored toilets because, you know, they just got tired of having colors in their bathroom because it's a pain in the butt to change that when it gets out of style. So we just go with white now, and that's some of my advice I will give. Don't go into fad stuff. If you buy a house and get a bathroom, get basic stuff. Don't get faddish stuff, because you're going to be stuck with that for decades if you're starting out. When you start out on your own, try to get the most tasteful stuff you can that will be as timeless as you can, because you'll be stuck with it for a long time. There's tool stuff, organizers, socket sets, this whole tool sets. I mean, one-stop shop for your entire garage full of tools here. Acetylene cut welding stuff, grinding stuff, drills. My dad had a Toastmaster drill. I think even when he got it, it was already, I mean, it's solid metal. You don't, even then, that was kind of old style. I'm trying to see if I can find one in here. Contractor levels with surveying work, table saws, drill presses, wood lathes, heavy duty staplers, hatchets, axes, hammers, vices. My dad bought a vise very much like this one. And it was a big deal. No, I think he got the $94 one. But anyway, he put it in his workshop, and I remember it was like, he was so proud of that thing. It was red, and he installed it, and I mean, he started like carving things, and he loved that voice. Tires. Just kind of know how simple tires were back then compared to the nonsense they put on them now with all of the craziness. I mean, they were just quite simple. All kinds of do-it-yourself stuff. Car radio. Look, that is a modern car radio in 1976. There you go. That's what it was. Some of these things played 8 tracks, 8-track tapes. This is an 8-track tape. You had to, you had 4 songs on it, and you had to rewind it. And you inserted it in there. That's what it looked like. An emergency kit. Shocks. A lot of car repair stuff. A whole oil pump. See, Montgomery Ward could be your one-stop shop. Jack's. I mean, whole car seats. Back in the day, you know, car seats were like this. They were like benches. They didn't. Oh, look at the mud flaps with Yosemite Sam on them. Soft tops. It's your lights for your cars, your rims, mag wheels is what they were called. Stuff for your RV or your van, your love machine or whatever. You could put all kinds of crap in your van. Vans always creep me out. Your toolbox for your truck. There's portable refrigerators. Speed governors is what these were called, so you wouldn't get caught speeding. I don't think they make those anymore. Roller skating. See how all the roller skates looked about the same? There, I don't think they had roller blades yet. You just had roller skates, no roller blades. This is outdoor stuff. Tents, sleeping bags, backpacks, coolers, Come on, folks. If you're going to go camping, unless you got severe problems down there, you don't need that. Maybe some people who want to go camping and they have, like, massive hemorrhoids or something, they might want that. But, I mean, This biker outfits. Yachting and boating. Canoeing, more like, not yachting. Rafts. Boat trailers. Ooh, exercise equipment. Weight bench. These are sports shoes with cleats on them. Catcher mitts, sporting wear, tennis wear, bikes, 10 speeds. And the bike for the kind of bike I would have had right here. I don't know if they still do it, but the boys' bike always had like the bar here, and the girls' bike had that thing going on. And basketballs, pool tables, air hockey, Daisy pellet guns, 1894 carbine replica, Red Ryder carbine replica. Just the basic. My brother had that one. These are real guns. Look, but they're for BBs. It's an M1 carbine that shoots BBs. Shotguns, hunting rifles, black powder for hobbyists, fly fishing stuff, metal detectors. And we get to some, let's collect 1976 coins, the special quarters, official bicentennial set, an excellent investment, a treasured gift, the magnificent assortment of 25 coins of the 20th century plus a silver certificate dollar arranged around the official bicentennial seal. The set includes Indian head penny, Buffalo nickel, Mercury and Roosevelt dimes, Standing Liberty quarter, Morgan silver dollar, Franklin walking liberty, and 1976 half dollar with bicentennial reverse. Mini coins contain 90% silver, mounted. For $70, that was actually probably a good deal. There's another one. And some more 1920, it was like 1880s throwback here. Here we go. This sums up furniture that I remember as a kid. Everything was kind of brown or yellow, mustard. We had that. That was our dining set. Excuse me, get that tickle in my throat again. And this video is going on long. I love it. The beer barrels. That's cool. Bar stools. Wicker. The Casablanca stuff. Bunk beds. Okay, now let's look at basic mattresses from the 70s. Nothing to them. They were very basic. Bedding back then, we didn't have heavenly beds or pillow tops or memory foam or any of that stuff. We had like springs and cotton, and you know, probably that's why everyone needed trusses. Dishwashers. More sewing machines. Oh gosh, the vacuums. Let's see if I can find our crappy vacuum here. It was one of these because it had the cloth bag on it. Yeah, it was a monster. All the vacuums back then were beasts. The microwave oven. Here's why. I remember when we went to get our first one in 1982. We went to Fort Worth, Texas. My grandparents came with us. Before we went to the mall, my grandpa gave me $3 and change, and I thought I was rich. So we went to the mall. I had enough to buy a couple action figures, and we bought our microwave oven. I remember on that trip, they had VCRs for sale, and they had a copy of The Godfather on VHS, and it was in like a glass display case, and it was like $200 or something. Fridges, deep freeze, TV sets. Look how expensive they were. This is black and white, $177. Oh my gosh. Color, $689. Excuse me. Hiccup. $689, yo. Think about that. This color TV is $689, but it gets worse. See the colonial outfits, electric guitars, drum sets. This is your keyboards. Turntables, stereos, portable radios, CB radios, trash cans, crock pots, crockery slow cooker, coffee makers, percolator. I still prefer the taste of coffee from a percolator after years and years of Mr. Coffee's. I still like the whole percolator taste. Let's see if I can find. We had these for sure. We had some of these. This pattern. This looks familiar. Yeah, we definitely had some of these. Check out these plates now. That looks quite familiar. We had that lamp. I like this brass wall art. These kind of Tiffany-ish lamps were very big back then. That was another throwback. These are oil lamps, rain lamps. This was oil that came down. If you touched it, it was a little oil. It'd stain your clothes and stuff. They were real big, but for obvious reasons, they went out of style. Coca-Cola. Bathroom stuff. These are like your bathroom curtains. Yeah. My mom was a firm believer in curtains in every room. She thought a room had to have some kind of curtain going on. Shag, well, not really shag carpet, it's just carpet. I mean, no wax floors. More bedding. See, if you wanted a pillow top, you bought a piece of foam. More bedding. We had that. My mom and dad had that one. Look at that. It looks like fluffy. Snoopy. Football. Racing. Mickey Mouse, Disney, Holly Hobby, Little Girls Love Gingham, Canopy and Simul's Machine Wash No Arm. No, this is not. This is Laura, Delightful Dancing Dolls. That's Holly Hobby ripoff. Kittens. That's Holly Hobby. Peanuts. More Mickey Mouse and Peanuts and kids table. That's what that is. It's the kids table stuff. Curtain rods and all that stuff. Shower curtain rings. Roman shades. These. Don't really see them anymore. Venetian blinds. You see Venetian blinds, but you don't really. Beanbag chairs. Me and my brother each had a beanbag chair like that. Rocking chairs. Oh, I keep turning the page. There's that fluffy thing again. Some of these look very close to what we had in the living room. Those look like our curtains. Those are cool, like the city behind. I like those a lot. And that's it. That is the entire book, every page, no commercial interruptions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like my channel, please subscribe, click the bell icon, leave a comment, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And I thank you for sitting with me. Bye.